What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated TonyTGD coming at you with another video. And we're going to be talking about the Intellivision Amico, specifically the numbers behind the Intellivision Amico. You see, CEO Tommy Tallarico, he likes to give out lots of information. He likes to tell people, you know, how many units they're manufacturing, how many purchase orders they got, how many pre-orders. The man likes to brag, he likes to talk, he likes to tell you like it is, and I am glad for it because I love numbers. Numbers are my best friend. Best subject in school was always math. So I'm really looking forward to diving into these numbers. Something that a lot of other YouTubers, the less able Intellivision YouTubers, those that are, just a little bit below me on the Intellivision YouTube ladder, they don't have the skills to look into these numbers the way I do. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive into these numbers and we're going to find out if they hold up. Do the numbers hold up? Do they hold water? Or is this a lot of smoke and mirrors? Is this a lot of pomp and circumstance with nothing to show for it? Let's find out. As you can see, this was posted on November 19th on the Atari Age forums by Mr. Tommy Tallarico himself. It's from the Republic SEC Regulation A Plus offering. If we scroll on down, we get lots of numbers. They got more than 25 million in purchase orders. Now, those are purchase orders, those are not pre orders. Those would be orders that stores have. Stores have made, stores like Walmart, GameStop, stuff like that. Things that are going to be on the shelf. Now, we don't know the exact details as to how much they're selling these units to Walmart, to GameStop. We do know that they are retailing for about $250. And Tommy says that they're getting good margins. They're making a little bit of money off of each unit sold. So let's just say that it's about $200. Let's say that Walmart is paying $200 for these units. That would mean out of a $25 million purchase order, that's 125,000 units. I mean, the $25 million number sounds big, but when you talk about units, we're only talking about maybe 125,000. I mean, if Walmart and them are getting it at cheaper, if they're getting it at say $100, if Walmart's only paying $100 per unit, then that's 250,000 units, which still it's a quarter of a million. It's a little more impressive, but still not really that impressive. I mean, the Ouya did what, like a million in sales, but it's 100,000 units pre-sold with global retail distribution. So I'm guessing that's GameStop. That's all the foreign markets that they got, all the little deals they got in Austria, the deals they got in Germany, the deal they got in Italy, the deal they got in Spain, the ones in the UK. Funny enough, all the Amazon listings that they have on their website for the different countries, all those seem to be temporarily out of stock. But the other places, the smaller little websites, distribution websites, they seem to have them. And we'll get back to that because we want to talk more about this $25 million purchase order. You see, these are going to be on store shelves. They're not going to be on the online because, as Mr. Tellerico told us himself here in this post from December 17th, says the Atari VCS is only sold online at Walmart and GameStop. We will be in actual retail locations. Big difference. Now, if we jump over to this other post he made, we can see that on January 23rd, he reiterates, we're going to be on store shelves. It says, it just means there will be less units available on store shelves. Now, obviously, they didn't make the October release, but we're going to assume that they're still going to be on them store shelves in April 15th, the new launch date. Now, Walmart in the U.S. alone has 4,765 stores, something like that. So 125,000 units just divided by Walmart minus the demo units set up in the store, because Tommy did say they were going to have demo units set up so everyone can play. So we're talking that's only about, let's see, 125,000 minus 4,700. It's only 120,300 left, divided by 4,700 locations. We're talking maybe 25 units per store in the US. That's not counting the Italian stores. It's not counting the German stores. It's not counting the Austrian stores or the UK stores or the stores in Spain. I don't see how they're going to launch on store shelves in 6 countries with only 125,000, maybe 250,000 purchase order units. That doesn't seem right. And again, if we just take into consideration that maybe these are just units that are going to be on the shelves in America, maybe just this 25 million is just for America, for the USA, not Canada, not the UK, but just for the USA. That's still only about 25 per store. Is that all he expects to sell, is 25 per store? And that's just in Walmart. I mean, if we add in GameStop, what are we talking? 20? 15 per store? I mean, talk about trying to make artificial scarcity. That's kind of what it seems like. Just a little. Now, of course, he has to actually manufacture these units. And as we know, it takes, according to Tommy, a month to manufacture units. So, if we look at how many units can they manufacture in a month, if only Tommy told us, if only there was a post where he was bragging about how many units he could manufacture in a month. Oh wait, I think there is one. Let me see. No, this is more bragging about being on the shelves, how much value, blah blah blah. Founders edition was limited 2,600. It's not the post I'm looking for. Come on, get it together. I'm sorry, I'm not at my A game right now. It's a little late. Computer's lagging. Can't find what I'm looking for. But I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. Let's see. Here we go. Right here. They can get 35,000 units produced per month. That's about 1,166 per day. Remember that number, folks. 1,166. We'll say 1,167 per day that they can produce. So they have one line, because Tommy's been saying that they can only afford one line. They don't want to. They can go up to 10, but they don't want to make that leap yet, because they're not sure that it's going to be there. That they need all that production this early in the game. So they're taking baby steps. And I'm sure if Tommy went ahead and got a second line or a third line, that he would have let us know, because Tommy loves to brag. So the fact that he hasn't said anything about getting a second line, we can only assume that he's still at just one line. 35,000 units per month. And again, he's letting us know that's going to be on store shelves. So 35,000 per month. If they start manufacturing, see, they can manufacture it as late as early March. Early March? They're gonna make 35,000 units in the month to ship by April That doesn't sound right. How could you have purchase orders, $25 million in purchase orders, but you're only going to make 35,000 units in a month, and that's all you're going to ship that first month, that initial launch? That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound possible that by early March you could still manufacture and make that release date. Because I know from working with Walmart, from working with managers at Walmart, from talking to these people, I know that they do not like to be second. Walmart, they love to throw their weight around. They love to get the best deal. They love to make sure everybody knows that they come first. And they're not going to be happy with 35,000 units spread out among founders, among VIP, plus all their stores, plus the online GameStop pre-orders. So this whole idea that they could start manufacturing in early March and still make the release, the April 15th release, it seems like it's a little bit of, what's that word Tommy likes to throw around? Misinformation. It seems like this is just a little bit of misinformation. But what do I know? I'm not the CEO of Intellivision. I mean, I don't have these numbers. I can't really know anything other than what he tells us, what he says. And if we look at this other post, he's still saying currently planning on manufacturing in January. Well, that's a little bit better in January. So we're talking January, February, March, 3 months of manufacturing. That's 105,000 units only. It's still not even enough for the purchase order. It's still not enough to make Walmart happy. But somehow I'm to believe that in January, if he starts manufacturing with one line at 35,000 units per month, that he's going to somehow please people and fulfill the obligations that he has. And he's still here talking about they can go as late at the beginning of March if needed. Because yes, that's, stores love when you don't deliver. Stores love when you tell them, hey, you got to wait a couple more months because we couldn't deliver. Because you see, contracts are contracts. It doesn't matter if there's COVID. It doesn't matter if there's an earthquake. It doesn't matter if your city's shut down. If you sign a contract with a place like Walmart, you deliver. Or Walmart gets really mad and sues you because you've breached your contract. See, that's how it works in the real world. This isn't some video game where you get a little slap on the wrist, a little penalty, a little red light flashes, and nothing happens to you. No, in the real world here, if you don't deliver on the things that you agreed to, you will be bent over and fucked royally. Especially when you're dealing with someone like Walmart. But here we go again. He says he's got a lot of stuff on her plate for December, January in regards to final prep, and compliance testing. He hasn't even finished compliance testing. He can't even start manufacturing. If he fails one of these compliance tests, that means they got to redo their tooling. They got to redo their manufacturing setup. They got to figure out what went wrong and how they can fix it. But somehow I'm to believe that April 15th, there's going to be Amicos on the shelves ready for purchase. I'm finding this harder and harder to believe. The more I look into this, the more we dive into these posts made by Tommy, it's becoming harder and harder to believe that we're going to get this April 15th release date. If only there was a ray of sunshine somewhere. Well, here we go. He said he can get, it's really challenging to get that first 100,000 we've ordered. At least he's being a little honest here. We have so many pre-orders and purchase orders. We could easily get over 200,000, but needed to put a lot of places and retail on hold while we figure out our manufacturing numbers. We had to cut back on taking purchase orders from retailers for now. Well, that explains why Amazon is currently out of stock. It's a great problem to have, by the way, because the last thing he said, here he is admitting, but the last thing you want to do is promise a retailer a certain number of units and then not deliver. So we're back to the problem that I talked about. How could you have $25 million purchase order, only make 35,000 units per month, and then somehow fulfill this purchase order with only a month's time? This does not seem realistic. This does not seem like a thing that you could be promising people. Yet here he is promising these things. Here he is saying this ridiculous statement that they're going to somehow manufacture in early March and still fulfill the purchase orders. I don't know. Sounds kind of like bullshit to me. But that April 15th launch date, that date doesn't seem right to me, because here on this website for pre-orders, in Italian no less, they're saying that the date's April 2nd. Italy's gonna get it 13 days before the US, 13 days before anyone else. So that means there's no way you could start manufacturing in early March and still deliver to this April 2nd date. It's a shame. But maybe they only got a couple of orders in Italy. Maybe Italy's a small amount of the pie, small piece of the purchase orders. But let's see, Spain, they're saying the same thing. April 2nd, not April 15th. So perhaps Spain is also very, very tiny. There's only like a couple orders in Spain and Italy, and we could, ship those out first, air freight those motherfuckers over, and those people will be happy. The few couple of orders, and they'll be happy. Oh. Let's see, what is this? Is this Germany? I'm not sure. Germany or Austria? It's one of them, but oh, this says April 1st. That's another day ahead. Damn. It's kind of weird that we're gonna launch April 15th, but I got April 2nd dates. I got April 1st dates. This is very ridiculous. In the UK, we're also April 2nd. It's almost like they have no idea what they're doing. And here, this is the Austrian site. And my German's a little rusty, but that says March 31st. March 31st, people. And this is to speak nothing of the fact that the Founders Editions, they need to be delivered before anyone else. Because Tommy's promised that you get it first. Founders Edition, use 2600, come first before everyone else. So now there's no way that we could manufacture it in March, because unless you're gonna make 2600 units and then ship those motherfuckers out straight off the line, we're not even gonna worry about filling a whole fucking container. We're just gonna fly out those 2600. Whew. This just doesn't seem doable. It's got that 100,000 units pre-sold, and we know that there's only 15,000 on Fig. And let's assume that that's all U.S. 15,000, all in the U.S. So what does that mean? So we're talking another 85,000 worldwide? even let's say that half of those are U.S. and Canada. It's about 40,000 in the rest of the world. That's like a whole month. Let's say 35,000 for the rest of the world. That's a whole month worth of manufacturing that you got to do. At 100,000 units pre-sold, in order to get them all out on time, in order for everybody to get their console at the same exact time, you either got to have 3 lines, which we know Tommy doesn't have, or else he would be bragging about having it, or you got to get that manufacturing started in January, possibly in December. He probably should be, getting that line up and going now, because we do know that there is Chinese New Year coming up, and that's 2 weeks where they're not going to do shit. And after Chinese New Year's, you see, everybody wants to make up for that 2-week lull period, that 2 week of no manufacturing. And I can imagine that some of the workers on the smaller companies, some of the workers who are dealing with, smaller production numbers, they probably get shifted over to some of the bigger companies. So something like Intellivision, they might not be able to produce 35,000 units in February. They might only be able to produce 30,000 or 25,000, because some of their workers were being shifted to bigger companies to make up for that 2-week lull. So, is Intellivision even going to make that April 15th date? I'm going to say no, folks. I'm going to say that Intellivision, they don't have the resources. They don't have the manufacturing. They don't have their ducks in a row in order for them to go ahead and launch globally on April 15th. Now, this isn't me hating on Intellivision. This isn't me just being an asshole and saying mean things about the company and the CEO. No, this is me being realistic. This is me looking at the numbers, doing what other people should have done, doing the things that were done to the Coleco Chameleon, that were done to Polymega, that were done to the Playdate, looking at the numbers, looking at the statements made by the company, by the CEO, and asking myself, do these statements make sense? Do these numbers add up? And in Intellivision's case, these numbers don't add up. I mean, these numbers sound ridiculous when you really look at it, when you break it down. But I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people telling me that I'm a liar, I'm an idiot, I'm taking his words out of context. I've twisted what he said for my evil ends because I am such a hater. But the truth is, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, folks. All of you people on the Amico bandwagon, you got to really ask yourselves, do these numbers make sense? Does it really sound like you're going to get the Intellivision delivered to you on April 15th? Because, in my opinion, you're not. In fact, I would not be surprised if this thing doesn't come out until the end of next year. Maybe Christmas 2021. But that's all I got to say about that, folks. And you know what we say at this channel. We always end it with love, peace, and booty grease. We out this bitch.